everybody, and welcome to Wisconsin Whitetails Outdoors. I'm Larry Bogus, and this week's rambling session, we're going to talk a little bit about hunting and gun hunting in the 9-day gun season here in Wisconsin. For those of you from Wisconsin that know what the hunting season is all about, it is almost like a religious holiday. I mean, they close schools for the 9-day gun season. They call it Thanksgiving break, but it certainly coincides with the 9-day gun season here. Now, for those of you that have been watching and know me a little bit, I think you'll understand that I'm pretty much a traditionalist when it comes to hunting, and I really like to keep it simple. That's been my goal as far as how I do things, and my techniques is just keep it simple and keep it basic. Once again, these are just my own personal opinions. What everybody out there uses is your own personal choice. But today we're just going to talk a little bit about what I use during the 9-day gun season. For me, it doesn't get any more basic or more traditional than the 30-30. Lever action. This is what I've used for basically since my very first time out in the woods. There was a couple years where I used a different caliber gun, but for the most part it's always been the lever action. And this particular one, this is my primary hunting gun. I bought this about 15 years ago at a gun store, and it's been a very reliable one. This one's made by Marlin, and I really like it. It's served me well. I've shot several deer with this, and I put the scope and the sling on after I bought it, and like I said, it's a very simple traditional gun. The reason why I use it is for the fact that ammo is pretty cheap, and for brushy country, this is it. This is the gun to use, at least in my opinion. Now, this is one of two guns that I own that are 30-30s. The other one that I want to share with you a little bit about is a gun that is very special to me, and it's one that I don't use that much anymore, but nonetheless, I thought I would bring it out and I would share it with you. And that's this one right here. Excuse me. And that's this one right here. The good old Winchester Model 94 lever action 30-30. Now, this gun is very special to me. And no, this is not one of the very valuable pre-1960 ones, so it's not worth a fortune. But it is worth a lot for me personally because of nostalgia and sentimental reasons. This very gun is the first gun that I ever shot a deer with. It was my brother's gun, and I'll just stop right here and say that my brother is still with us, but he lives over in Europe now and he doesn't hunt anymore. But this is the gun that I took out when I was 13 years old for my very first hunting season. And I didn't get a deer my first year. I actually ended up shooting a doe when I was 14 on my second season. Now, there's definitely pros and cons to using these older Winchester lever actions, and one primarily is the safety feature, because on these old guns, the hammer is the safety feature. It's one of them that I personally wouldn't recommend giving a first-time hunter, because you have to be very careful when you set the safety on this. And for those of you that are familiar with this gun, what you have to do is you have to put your thumb on the trigger or on the hammer and pull the trigger until it stops halfway, and that's the safety feature on it. The newer ones, like on my Marlin that I have, that's got a safety here down by the trigger, and so that's one of the improvements that they made on these lever actions over the years. But these old style guns, this is it. This is what the old timers used to use, and because that's all they had. Now, for those of you that use these higher caliber long range shooting rifles, God bless you, and I wish you the best of luck, and please continue to use them. But for me personally, these 30-30s are the bread and butter. I've never seen the need for, at least where I hunt, that I need that long of a range of shooting rifle. The hunters out there that use the 308s and the 300 Ultra Mags, that's awesome. And you guys continue to use them, because that's what you want. And essentially that's what everything, when it comes down to your own personal choice for picking equipment to use out in the field, use what you want. It goes with taking the deer. Whatever deer you want, whatever deer you see out there, if that's the deer that you want to put your tag on, shoot it. Because it's your tag, it's your decision. You're the one paying the money, you're the one putting the time in. So if that's what you want, use it. Go for it. I've been told over the years, I've had hunting buddies that say, oh, why don't you use a real man's gun, blah, blah, blah. And that's fine. But for me, it kind of goes back to the whole roots of actual deer hunting and where it all started here in the state of Wisconsin. And pretty much, out in the rugged country, these lever action rifles were their tools. This is what they used to protect their farms, put food on their plates. So it goes back to the whole thing about knowing your roots. As I said, this belonged to my brother, and a couple years ago we were talking, and he had asked me, he has a few guns that he still has here in the States that are at my parents' house, and he had asked me if there was a specific gun of his that I was ever interested in. And I told him that 30-30 had always held a special place in my heart, because that was the one that I put my first tag on, my first deer. And he gave it to me. And I'm forever thankful, and as far as I'm concerned, this is going to continue to be in my family for many generations, I hope, because this was my beginning. These were my roots with this gun. So with that being said, I really hope that you get a chance to share your thoughts on whatever type of weapon you choose for the gun season here. Please leave some comments in the comment section, and let's have a conversation about what you guys use, because I'd really like to know and hear your thoughts, and to see what other types of caliber guns you prefer to use. I'm not 100% sure what we're going to cover next week. I'm thinking maybe we might go back to archery, just because it's getting closer. We're already halfway through July, and before we know it, we're going to be out in stands for early season bow hunting. So maybe we'll cover something with bow hunting again next week. But until then, thanks for your time. I appreciate all the likes on the Facebook page and all the comments. And until next time, we'll see you later.